Ads not read by me, Mary Payne, don't necessarily reflect the views of Pink Shade. If you'd like to listen to ad-free, you're going to go on over to Supercast or Patreon, and you can find the links to Pink Shade Prime at pinkshadepodcast.com. Hey y'all, welcome to Pink Shade. It's Mary Payne here. I've got Kimberly from A Date with Dateline, and I'm hoping my sound is better. We've been hearing some complaints about the sound. Kimberly and I did a little testing 1, 2, 3, so hopefully it's better for you today. Kimberly, are you ready to talk about these people on Before the 90 Days?
I've never been more ready, except I can't podcast without the proper equipment. So I'm going to need a peeler and a cutting board.
Yeah, that was wild, huh?
That was wild.
Yeah. Just when we thought we're always going to be on his side, he pulls some shenanigans like this.
Uh-huh. I never
Come
thought
on.
I was always going to be on his side, but I never thought I would be so anti him.
Yeah, it's hard to be on the side in that situation, right? Because
There's
they're
no
both
side.
pretty awful people.
Both sides.
Yeah.
It's like one side of the coin is Hitler and the other side is somebody that's Putin. It's just
Mussolini.
There's no good
I don't know.
side. Yeah.
Well, this episode is season 6, episode 3, Overboard, because we're doing the 90s movie titles.
Yeah, that is one of my old boss's movies.
Okay, well, if your old boss was alive, you could tell him that is my husband's all-time favorite movie is Overboard.
Oh.
That and
Pray
Major League.
You can tell him.
Yeah, Major League and Overboard are his 2 favorite movies
I love
of
that.
all times. I don't
that.
know who directed Major League.
I don't either.
Yeah, just a lot of Major League quotes going on in this house that nobody gets but him.
I'm sure.
Mhm.
Wild Thing. That's the only part that I know.
There was
They play
also
song.
Joe Boo. There's somebody named Joe Boo that they talk about. I don't know. I don't want to delve into it. I know Charlie Sheen's in that movie, but anyway, Overboard, Goldie Hawn, right? Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay. Yep. He loves that movie.
That's interesting. It's not one of my favorites because I find that it's a little assaulty. It doesn't hold up very well.
It's too slapsticky for me.
It's a little taking advantage of someone with amnesia so that you can have sex with them and make them your slave.
Yeah, I could see where you could see that, but I mean, they do it on soap operas every single day. Somebody has amnesia.
Yeah, that's true.
In real life, have you ever met anybody that had amnesia or knows anyone that had amnesia?
Interesting. No, actually.
No, I don't think it's very common.
No.
Except for, we were just talking about getting these back injections, and that is what they do to you, is that when they give you these medications and they do the back thing, you have amnesia when you're done and you don't remember it. That's what they told me. Because when I came out of it, I was like, how did I get in this chair? Like, I had no idea.
What?
And they said the medication has some amnesia something in it. We'll have to ask our Bunkie John, because he is a nurse anesthetist and he knows, because they give you ketamine, fentanyl, and Versed.
Oh my God.
And just enough to last like that 15 minutes. And then next thing you know, you're like in a chair being wheeled out and you've made it a next appointment and you have no memory of any of it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's bizarre.
Yeah. And they've told me it's because it has amnesia inducing. Yeah. That's why it's like those are bad drugs that you shouldn't take unless you have a doctor helping you.
I have seen people on Dateline with amnesia now that I think about it.
Really?
Yes.
Are they telling the truth?
I think so. Never know.
Always wary of people on Dateline.
Mm-hmm.
Always.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God. Well, this is going to be a long episode, so let's get into it. Season 6, episode 3, Overboard.
I'm so sorry. I'm going to make it even longer. I got to jump in. I noticed something in the previously on that I did not notice last week about the spaghetti or fettuccine or whatever that they're serving at Gino's house.
Okay.
In the bowl or whatever, the pot that they're serving it out of, they're serving it with one of those big serving spoons. A spoon.
Okay. She doesn't have the proper equipment. What part didn't you get?
No, this is at Gino's family's. It's in the common room of his uncle Marco's apartment complex or whatever.
Right. Okay. They
It's like
also
the
may not
kind of
have the proper equipment.
spoon. Yeah, it was a kind of big spoon that you would serve like orzo salad or pasta salad, something like that,
Yeah.
macaroni and cheese. But these are
Okay.
long fettuccine noodles,
Yeah.
and they're serving
Perhaps
it
there was like
like a fork
a
part
fork
of
with
it.
it so that you could hold it on the top.
I
Yeah,
didn't
because that
see
would.
one, but the
Mm,
situation just keeps unfolding and getting more upsetting.
yeah, this is why he's traumatized about the lack of proper equipment because his family
You're
also
right.
has the lack of proper
You're
equipment.
right. This all makes sense now. His
Wow.
overreaction.
Wow. Wow. He was like, how many times do I have to tell you I can't cook or eat without the proper equipment? Oh my goodness. Well, let's start with Amanda and Rosvin. Now, people are upset this week because they are putting out all these timelines about Amanda's story. Okay.
Interesting.
So I know I'm not going to be able to pull it up, and I'm
Oh,
sure I
is
wasn't
this
smart
about
enough to
her
screenshot
husband
it.
that passed
Hmm.
away? I did
Right.
hear something like
So it's like if her husband passed away in March, and then she was talking to Rosvin in April. Now it's an
what? Really?
right, like within a month. Yeah. And then she goes there 4 months later to see him. So maybe it's been 5 months since her husband died when she goes. And for me, I'm like, I don't see that so much as a conspiracy theory because she said he has died within the year and it was very quick. So she
Right.
admitted that part. So I don't necessarily see it as being this big like woo. Either she was like having an affair with him or none of it's true, or I don't see any of that. I feel like she said, I my husband died. I would stay up at night. I couldn't sleep. So I was just like doom
Mhm.
scrolling my phone, looking at
Mhm.
people doing dumb things on TikTok.
Mhm.
And that's where she met him. So I don't necessarily think that but I completely wrong with what I read. But when I read it, I was like, I still don't get the big to do. She said it was very soon. She said she'd only been dating him for X amount of months.
It's just even sooner than we thought.
Very, very quick. I said, look, I'm not saying I would do that or that I think it's right. I'm just saying it's not necessarily against what she's told us.
I heard something about her ex, may he rest in peace,
Hmm.
that I don't know if this is true. I probably even shouldn't be spreading it.
Go ahead and say it and I'll tell you if it was on the timeline.
He left his first wife
Uh-huh.
for her when she was 18.
Yeah. Right. So if I could
And
only.
maybe he had kids with the other wife.
Yes. And I also, in that vein, that she was working at Hooters when
No
he met her.
shame.
No shame in that. You could do whatever you want. And working at Hooters, I mean, you're a waitress, and God bless you have to wear those ugly tights. Um, but let's see if I could just find that timeline, which I'm sure me sitting here saying I'm going to be able to find it means I'm totally. I found it. Here it is. Okay. Thank you, Amy, in our Facebook group posted this. She says, all right, so I'm pulling it up. 1976, Jason is born, the husband. Okay. 1991, Amanda is born. They are however many years apart in age.
Mm-hmm.
You know, me and math, not
Mm-hmm.
good. 1996, Rosvin is born. That's funny. Okay. So he is 5 years younger than Amanda.
Okay.
Okay. 2010, Jason and Amanda meet. In 2014, Jason and Amanda get married. So they dated for 4 years before they got married.
Okay.
Okay. 2019, Amanda's mother passes away.
Right.
Okay. July 2021, Jason has started to feel sick, no diagnosis. October 2021, a friend of Razvan's claims this is when he and Amanda started talking. This is an unfounded rumor, according to this timeline.
Before the husband passed away.
Husband is diagnosed March of 2022. 10 days later, dies. Okay, March 19th, 2022. April 9th of 2022. So approximately 3 weeks later, 4 months before the August 9th phone call that we see on the show, is April 9th. Okay. Which I'm saying I think she said she was dating him a few months.
Yeah.
I don't think she tried to act like she and Rosalind had been together for a long time. April April 10th. So if April 9th is 4 months before that phone call, April 10th is when Amanda's sister dies.
Unbelievable.
Okay. So now her mom has died in 2019. Her sister has died in 2022. And then on May 4th, which would be a month after, now we're saying it's been 4 months since they first met, he makes a tribute on his TikTok to Amanda. Okay.
Wow.
July 2022, Amanda claims this is when she and Rosvin started being flirtatious, which was in July. But I think it was in April. I think her husband died in March and she started flirting with him in April. That's what I think. But she claims it was in July. However, she's in Romania August of 2022. So it has
month.
The next month. So she can't claim they started flirting in July if she's there in August. And people have that from the phone screenshots, okay?
These detectives should be on Dateline.
I know.
I have so many cold cases to send your way, people.
I mean, my gosh. So early August 2022 is when Amanda is in Romania. And that is when August 9th, 2022 is when her phone shows a phone call with her son when she did the lock screen and it showed the date. So Amanda said filming happened December 22 to January 2023, but her phone showed August 9th.
August.
Yeah. And June 4th, 2023, which technically would be a year and 3 months after she started talking to Rosvin, if she started talking to him in April 2022. So June of 2023. First episode airs and she tells her sister.
I feel like you're a lawyer and this is like the OJ trial and you're laying out the timeline for us.
I mean, look at this.
You have a huge whiteboard.
Yeah. I mean, look at that.
Wow.
I'll send it to you. So here's what I'm saying on this. It's not great. I'm not saying I think like, oh, it's great and she's wonderful and this is all fine. I think it's problematic that she did that. I think that she did it out of I've never been alone and I need to find somebody real quick.
Yeah, the whole thing is problematic. Her not dealing with her grief and wanting a new father for her husband or an escape from her grief, an escape from her life as a sudden single mom. Her sister died. But TLC feels exploitative for putting this on TV, especially with the kids involved. The whole thing, it feels icky. I know. It's like, who am I new here? Like, I'm expecting more from TLC. I'm expecting more from Matt Sharp. The whole thing is strange. But it does appear from your timeline that she did lie or there is a misunderstanding about the date, August versus December.
Yeah. I think so. And I think that still, I don't think it is unfounded that Rosvin's friend said, oh, he was talking to her before. Is it that friend we saw with all the tattoos that's really hot for him? Is she the source? Because consider the source.
She seemed to not know anything about the thing. She was just jelly.
Yeah. So she could have made stuff up because she likes it. So I don't know. And as per usual, I'm sure I'll be proven wrong and she's a monster. But I am still holding out hope that her timeline is off, but she did not start TikTok messaging him until her husband passed away. Even if it was just a week and she was doom scrolling on TikTok and has made I think as she's there in Romania, she is seeing, I've made a terrible mistake.
Yes.
Like, I'm not ready for this.
Yeah.
You know?
No, we're getting the Curb Your Enthusiasm music every time it closes in on her face.
It's like, So, all right. So we awake with Rosvin with a giant hickey on his neck, making coffee for Amanda. And they snuggle a little bit. And he's like, why do you sleep with socks on? And it's pretty funny. And he's like, I hope that, we have sex. You won't have socks on. And she's like, oh, leave me alone. So in the talking head with both of them, he says, in the middle of the night, she got kind of horny and was sucking on my neck. And she was like, oh my God, stop. And so for somebody who kind of jokes all the time, this seemed to be a very serious subject for him. He wasn't joking at all. And she laughs and is like, stop. And he goes, but then you give me a bone and then you give me nothing. And she goes, well, you should go in the bathroom with your tissues. And he's like, no.
She did get the tissue joke that proved.
She did.
And I was so wrong. And she did get it.
Yeah. So he jumps on the bed and does a pelvic dance in his tighty whities. And he was like, I'm going to do this later, but with no socks. Ah, ha, ha, ha. And he's got that big hickey. So they're getting ready to go to the little town called Old Town, where they can look around. And it looked beautiful, by the way. And he says he knows it must feel weird for her because she's never been with another man besides Jason. And he asks her how she feels. And she says, it's strange. I love you and I'm happy, but yeah, it's strange. And he's like, I just want to make sure you're not uncomfortable and all that. So, and the talking, it all seems very sweet. And he says in his talking head, I'm not trying to rush her. I want to make sure she feels comfortable because I think it's a weird position that she's in. And in her talking head, she says she's nervous and scared. And it's hard to talk to him about her emotions because it's supposed to be a fun trip and it's not supposed to be heavy. But she says she has so many things on her mind. She doesn't really even know what her emotions are. And I think you can see that from the minute she's landed, she does not know where her emotions are.
And I think that's another reason why she should not have gone on this trip. But
I agree.
It didn't hit her before that, maybe. Everyone was telling her, but she didn't listen, and she went anyways, and now it's hitting her.
That's the theme of this show. Everybody told you and you didn't listen.
Yeah.
So they're going to go. So they're in the car and they're going to Old Town. And she's like, I'm really thrown by something that just happened. Because we were on the phone with the kids and her son, Junior, said to Rosalind, just sort of out of the blue, Dada died. And he and Rosalind talked for a second. He said, yeah, my dada died. And then he runs off. And I say, Junior is 4 years old. Or maybe 3. Don't overthink this. Like, that kids say these things and next they're going to be like, you have a big nose. And then, you know what I mean? Like, they say things.
That's true. But this is the same son who keeps asking about where they're sleeping, if they're sleeping in the same bed. Mm-hmm. It makes me think that this son is way more perceptive than she thinks he is. But maybe I'm wrong. Again, I don't know children.
Yeah, I don't know. I think
and I don't trust them either.
I think that's just a kid thing to get fixated on.
Yeah,
like,
maybe.
Where are you going to sleep? You know, is she wearing her red socks? She loves red socks. Or he could have heard some adults talking about if she's going to sleep, and then latched onto. She could have heard her, like her sister's like 8. She'd be like, ooh, they're going to kiss in the bed or something.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
Why am I trying to make everything right with this? I don't know. I think that she's just so. I think she really is so traumatized from everything that happened in her life. No matter what happens,
person right now.
Yeah. No matter how she met her husband, whatever, they were married and they did have these 2 kids and he did die within 10 days of getting a diagnosis.
Yeah, it's a tragedy.
Then her mother had died and her sister had died and it's all very traumatic. Mm-hmm. She's not processing it.
No.
So, all right. So she tells Rosalind, she's like, I'm just really sad. I'm questioning like if I should have even come here. And, I really need to think about my kids. I don't want them to be hurt that I'm gone. And, would you be mad if I left early? And he's like, what? Yes, I'd be upset. We only have these 3 weeks together. It'll go very fast. And she's like, 3 weeks is a long time.
Yes, you should have thought of that before you came.
Right.
For children, it is a long time.
All of it. She could have very easily done what Megan did and gone there like with her sister. Mm-hmm. And then toured around during the day and been on dates with him at night, but stayed with the kids and stuff, sort of like to ease into it.
She's trying to keep them separate, but she keeps saying like, I don't want you involved in my kid's life yet. But then they know, they talk on the phone. They've already are invested. Like they know what's up. They know there is this new man that their mom is always on the phone with.
Right. Yes. 24/7. So he's like, well, I'm really trying to empathize with her. I'm trying to make her feel better. And she's like, it's just really hard to be in this moment because I feel so guilty for leaving the kids. But I do need to see if he's the right guy to bring into my kid's life and have a future with. Like, I've got to go and find out in person, but I feel so guilty for leaving the kids. So they walk around, they see the sights, and they go get a drink at this rooftop bar. And they toast, he does, let's toast a beautiful future together. And it's like, love you, love you. That's kind of what I don't understand. And this is not just to these 2. So many people on these shows do this, like, love you, I love you too, love you. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Weird. And so I was like, call him dad, your dad's home. And like, no, it's not your dad.
Oh. And that's why Riley won't say I love you yet. And I'm like, that's smart. But your listeners seem to think that means he's an angry, mean person.
Well, we're going to get to it when we get there because You and I have had completely the wrong take on Riley, so I guess we probably maybe have a wrong take on Amanda too.
No, the internet, I did just gauge. I put my finger in the air on Twitter.
Okay.
People are are mean about Amanda. And I'm like, well, she
has
been through a horrible tragedy, but they are mean. They are like calling her a snake and a liar. They're calling her whiny. And I'm like, she's traumatized. She shouldn't be there for sure. She made a horrible decision. Mm-hmm. She shouldn't have brought her children into this. She shouldn't have done this. But everyone is being very mean. We're not being that mean. You're being very nice.
Well, that's the name of the game here. And then I get yelled at for being too nice. So, hey guys, I've already talked to you a lot about this microdose.com. This is a really great product. There are these gummies that you get, and you can eat one or two, or I've been taking a bite out of a half of one before bed. It helps my mind get off that just think, where I cannot go to sleep. I've tried everything, you guys. I try all the sleep tips and nothing helps me. I read my book, nothing works. But taking this like half of a microdose gummy has helped me so much. I know Ingrid takes one or two. It just depends. And it comes with these instructions that'll tell you start here. And if you didn't know, like I'm using it for sleep, but microdosing can also be used for a creative boost, for kind of an enjoying the moment, living in the moment type of feeling, for sleep, which is what I'm using it for. Pain, if you've got chronic pain, it will help you kind of ease your mind on that, as well as anxiety, which a lot of these people on these shows we watch, they have, major anxiety all the time, and they could take a half a gummy for sure. It's also good for workout and recovery, which I didn't know. That's new information. And also, it's good to help you get relaxed for sex. There, I said it. I'm sorry. It helps you get in the zone easier no matter what you're using it for. And microdose is available nationwide. So if you want to learn more about microdosing THC, you go to microdose.com and use code PINKSHADE. You'll get free shipping and 30% off your first order. 30% is a lot. So the links can be found in the show notes, like always. But again, you can go to microdose.com and use code PINKSHADE to get 30% off and free shipping. And then let me know how you liked it. So, okay, they toasted this beautiful future together. He does this whole big thing of like, I got something I'm going to tell you. And she's like, this is going to be so dumb. It's going to be so corny. And of course, he's like, I want to give you a key, So she's like, well, I'm not going to be back here anytime soon. So like, I don't need a key, but thank you. And
things not to say if someone gives you a key to their place.
Right. So he says,
what am I supposed to do with this?
This is so stupid. Like, we're going to be together all the time. It's not like I'm going to need to get in when you're not home.
My keychain is already very heavy, and I don't need extra weight on it. Thanks.
I don't need a Romanian key on my keychain. It's symbolic, you dummy. So he says, well, I could come see you because I've had the interview for the tourist visa. And she goes, what? Why didn't you tell me that? He goes, because I want to surprise you. And she was like, what? He goes, we've always talked about me getting my papers and coming there. So I think, I'll be able to come visit like right after you leave.
Oh my
God.
She
goes, no, that's not realistic. No. She goes, I have to consider talking to the kids and like what they would think. And it's just way too soon for you to come and visit me. And he goes, okay, so maybe then like a month. And she goes, no. And he goes, well, I don't want to drag this out. And she goes, no. And he goes, I really don't think you want me there. Duh. Now, everybody that's ever been on the show in the history of time would do anything for the person they've gone to see in another country to be like, and guess what? Mm-hmm. I have proactively gotten a visa and I can come see you. That never happens on the show. The American is always doing all the work.
2-year-olds who are just like, I didn't fill out the form. Couldn't find a pen. Sorry.
Yeah.
There were no Bics around, so you're going to have to fill out the paperwork.
Yes. So he's like, I don't think you want me there. And so in her talking head, she goes, I just feel like, I know I've upset him and he feels disappointed, but I feel like it's just way too soon. Like, I have to think about my kids first. I have to put my feelings second. And in his talking head, he goes, I don't know why she can't just say, Mama met somebody. Yeah.
You're there, though. Like, again, if you're putting your kids first, why couldn't this whole relationship have been like, I like you, there's a connection, but I need to put my kids first. Let's see where we are in a year. If you're still single and I'm still single, then it's meant to be. but I need to focus on my kids right now. That would have been the reasonable thing to do.
Yeah.
But I think by going to visit him in a foreign country, she may have given him the idea that she's interested in a serious relationship. Maybe
and she wants to be
I
engaged
love yous as well.
She said she wants to be engaged
Yeah.
to him, but doesn't want him to come to her house.
Yeah.
This doesn't make any sense.
Mixed signals. And I get why he's confused. Although he doesn't seem to get that there's a difference between her going there and him going there where the kids are. There is a difference. So, and he doesn't seem to get that, but this is just not, this is awkward. And they're at that's like nice bar, rooftop bar. And
I know.
And it's like very awkward. I would be so staring. I would be just like, what's happening?
Well, me too, because there's cameras around
them. There's cameras. Are they breaking up? Yeah. What's happening?
Should I be taking pictures in case I need this later to put on Reddit? And so he says, I don't know why she just can't explain to the kids, like, mama met somebody that mama cares about somebody. So she cries at the table a little bit. And
they're
she says,
still carrying around their dad in a box.
Yeah. And we got mixed reactions on that too. One person was like, look, whatever they need to do is fine for their process. That's sort of what we said. And then we had another child psychologist like, this is absolutely not okay.
Yeah, so, I'm going with the child psychologist on this.
I'm not going to give an opinion on that because it'll be wrong. So she cries at the table and she was like, the kids would not be okay if you came to visit and stay at our house like right after I get home. And he was like, well, I don't really want to wait like another year or something. So, and she goes, well, turn around, gaslight. Are you telling me you're not willing to wait until I can make sure the kids are okay? And he was like, well, she was like, it would just be very hard if you came into their lives before we're sure. And then what if it doesn't work out and it's going to be another man that leaves them? It's just a lot more, and it's a very fragile situation. So that I get.
Right. I totally get what she's saying, but she sounds like a giant hypocrite because of the location that she is having this conversation
in Romania. Yes. Well, it seems like it was super easy for him to get a tourist visa. So Romania must have very good relations with the U.S.
Yeah. And he must be squeaky clean, like have no record, or he's not an entree or anything like that.
It's interesting too, because he really wants to be an American actor. I mean, that's what he really wants.
Right. So and is he pushing this too much? And it seems, I do think he likes her, but.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But he definitely does want to come to America too.
He does. And he's young and wants to be an actor, but he's not going to be an actor in Eunice, Louisiana. I'm here to tell you.
Yeah,
I don't know where Eunice is, but it doesn't sound like
a common bingo card theme is foreigner has completely wrong misperception about how great America is.
Yeah. Yeah, because they think everything is like LA or Vegas or New York.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm here to tell you most of this country sucks.
That's why I worry a lot about Love in Paradise, about Juan coming to the poopy town in Wyoming.
Oh, God, the poopy town.
Yeah.
He's not prepared for the poopy town.
No. My nephew is very familiar with poopy town and has some cows and horses and things there.
Katie grew up in a poopy town.
Yeah. He's like, no, to me, it's great, but he's like a cowboy that likes to live in Wyoming and rope horses. Mm-hmm. For him, it's a great town. But for Juan, who's been on the Caribbean for years, it's probably not so much. Mm-hmm. Probably not so much. Katie grew up in a poopy town. That's funny.
She did. Central Valley, California.
Oh, my goodness. All right, let's go to our latest cast member. It's Meisha, age 43, from Blaine, Minnesota, and Nicola, age 46, from Israel. He's from Nahariya, Israel, which is Galilee, which is where Jesus was from.
There you go.
There you go.
Do you feel like everything revolves around Jewish matchmaking now?
I do, except nobody here is Jewish, but yes. But he is in Israel, yes.
But it's the show we've been covering. I feel like my Judaism has just been ramped up a lot lately. My trips to Israel. Also, she's from Minnesota, which is where all of my people hail from. My parents' people. My parents are born and raised in Minnesota.
Okay.
All of our relatives are from there. And
really?
Yes. But also Judaism is, I've been there, the land of my people. So it's just all full circle.
I'm not going to know, but producer Ingrid hails from Minnesota, as does one of my best friends, Sarah. They're all, but Ingrid's from a tiny little town called Luverne. So you don't seem to be familiar with it.
No, because my parents are from Minneapolis and St. Paul.
So okay, that's where my friends are. Yeah, Twin Cities, the big cities.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That's where I've been there. So, all right. So Meisha and Nicola. So we open with Meisha praying real loudly and dramatically in a group. So I guess she's leading this prayer.
I don't think she was. I think she came in late and she seemed to just sit there, but then she took over the whole praying session and was talking louder than all the little old ladies.
I think she was
is she
leading it?
Or was she, it's just her reporter instincts are like projecting. You got to pray to the back row. And she's like, I can do it better than these people and with a lot more style. So she's like, I'm going to pray better. Jesus is going to hear my prayers over these little old biddies here.
It could be, but because she said she works for the church in pastoral care where she helps people with their end of life decisions or whatever, I felt like maybe she was leading a prayer of people who have some loved ones in distress, because after she was done, she was like, let's pray for no traffic. Am I right? I'll be here all week. Yeah. Now I have a sound button on my soundboard and I don't know if you're going to be able to hear it because somebody told me last week they couldn't hear it, but it would be this one.
Yeah. But pump.
Gosh, it takes a long time to come up, doesn't it? Yeah. It's like a 5-second delay on that.
No, it was good.
It was good. I don't know. So if it didn't work, guys, the sound effect was shh. Okay. I don't know why it wouldn't work, but it didn't work last week. So, all right. She says she used to live a glamorous life. And, but a decade ago, she had a profound spiritual awakening while she was vacuuming her living room. That's saw
how it happens. That's why I don't clean. I don't want to know things about the other realm.
My friend Sarah hurt her back today by doing home aerobics to like a old-timey DVD. And I was like, that's what you get for exercising.
Yep.
That's what happens. So she was vacuuming. She saw 2 huge suns suspended out of the sky right outside her window. And the first thing she thought was, I'm having a heart attack. And she was terrified. And she got down to the ground as if something or someone was pushing her down. And a voice in her mind told her to pray. And she was led to the Bible and she read the whole thing straight through. And that led her right to the steps of the Roman Catholic Church.
I have so many thoughts.
Yeah. Seeing the double suns in the sky and then falling to the ground sounds like double vision.
I think clearly it was either alien abduction or stroke.
Right. She doesn't say if she got checked for.
I know. I would have liked to have gotten a full body workup.
Like an AFib or something right away. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So she lets us know that when she was in high school, she met a foreign exchange student from Sweden. So she ended up marrying this guy when she was 22, and they had 2 kids, 2 daughters. And after her divorce, she was the fun party girl. She was always at the bar. She was having a blast. She shows us a date from when she won like most eligible bachelorette in Philly or something.
Yeah.
And she
should be on The Bachelorette 10 years ago.
Gorgeous. She looks like she should be on a Real Housewives show.
For sure.
For sure. Real Housewives of Blaine, Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
So she says she only dated really handsome guys that were super successful and they would take her on these amazing trips and dates. But post-conversion, it got real lonely real fast because all she could talk about was the church and the Bible. And people said, that's too much. And she understood. And she understood it was too much.
Yeah. I loved that she got that. That made me really like her.
Yeah. She was like, I get it.
It's a little much.
It's a lot. It's a lot. And
by the way, I didn't mean to sound dismissive about religious visions. If you think that you've had a religious vision, maybe you did. Well, who am I? I don't know. I don't know what goes on in the universe.
I don't know either. And the 2 suns is what threw me. If she would have seen like a bright light and felt it, then we would be like, oh, you were having a cross to the other side experience. Mm-hmm. But because it was 2 bright lights.
That's why I think alien, like it's some sort of UFO.
Right. Like a ship and they were crossing back and forth. Like, yeah. Okay. So then she started talking to someone across the world. He's incredible. They're in sync, heart, soul, mind, and she's in love. It's Nicola. Now we meet Nicola. He lives with his mom in Israel. She doesn't hear well, But you live with your parents until you get married. It doesn't matter how old you are. Let's remind her. She's 43. He's 46.
We were dying. I was watching with my parents, and I was like, Mom, that's what it's like to talk to you. Do you want the fish? What? Fish. Do you want the fish? What? Fish. Do you want fish for dinner? Where are your hearing aids? Joni.
Oh my God. Did she take that to heart and go look for her hearing aids or no?
No.
No. Okay.
She's scared she'll lose them, so she doesn't wear them.
That makes a lot of sense.
Ironic. Yeah.
Yeah. So he says he lives a very simple life. He's devoted to the Lord, and he's devout because his grandmother, who was some kind of a nun, which is confusing because if you're a nun, you're not allowed to have sex. So how is that his grandmother? But maybe she was a late in life nun. And his parents were never religious. He wakes up every day, he prays, and he works on his website that is about Catholic prayers. Some of them take 9 hours. This is just what you do. It's hard for him because he lives in Israel, which is only 2% Catholic. So it's been very hard for him to find someone to date, to find a partner. And he's met this divorced woman from America. God does things you don't expect. They've been talking for 7 years.
That's crazy.
7 years. And
but
she's
not
about
in
to go
a
meet him.
romantic way. I think at the beginning it wasn't.
Right. So I wonder if she was dating other people at that time.
Right.
If she could find somebody to date her with her weirdness.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she goes to
I think a lot of guys would be willing to overlook her extreme religiosity with her smoking hot bod.
I agree with that. I don't know what's happening in Blaine, Minnesota and why they have to live there because it seemed like they did live in Philly in a larger city. So maybe she got
was on the news when she
it could have been when she was on the news and then she just stayed there. Yeah.
It might have to do with her ex with the kids.
Also, lots of places in Minnesota are very Swedish and her ex is from Sweden. So maybe he has family there.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So, all right. So they've been talking for 7 years. She's about to go there. Now we see Meisha go have a drink with her sister, Taylor. So they're sitting to have a drink and Taylor goes, so let's talk. All right. Are you worried about him being a virgin? And it was like,
on Pillow Talk, Andre spit out his drink. He's just like, what? Points at the TV. It was pretty funny.
I was glad to see the return of Andre and whatever her name is.
I hate them on their own show, but they're pretty entertaining on Pillow Talk.
Well, I'm a big fan of Andre, as you know.
He looks good.
He looks good.
He looks. Yeah. I gotta ask what Maddie and Poodle thought. They thought he looked good before, but I think he looks way better now. He's had a glow up.
This is a man that Maddie and Poodle and I agree on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Usually it's just Poodle and I are aligned. And Matt thinks whoever we think is hot is gross.
Yeah.
But I think we all agree on Andre. Andre is universal.
I mean, I didn't until I just saw him last night on Pillow Talk.
It's like he's it's like he's not quite so bulky or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he looks a lot cleaner. He looks like he's showered a lot more. I don't like, he always looks like he smells to me. But he looks pretty good.
So Taylor is asking about the virgin thing, and then she tells us that because of his faith, he has to be celibate until marriage, and she admires his convictions. But at the same time, it worries her because she does like to have a lot of affection, like a lot. And it's been over 10 years, okay? So Taylor goes, we get Taylor's talking head. She goes, this is crazy. It's like she had this awakening, and now she wants to get married to this extremely devout man. And he seems nice and okay, so they're both Catholic, but they're just so different. And I cannot imagine what she sees in him. Okay? Everybody thinks this.
On Pillow Talk, they were kind of mean. They were like, he's a 2.
Oh, well, that's not nice.
Yeah, they were mean.
A 2 to somebody might be a 10 to somebody else.
Exactly.
Beauty's in the eye of the beholder. So Taylor says, it's also concerning because he's never dated much. And Meisha's like, yeah, I know. And Meisha goes, but all I can do, is follow my heart. I love him and I trust God that this is the man I'm supposed to be with. All right, now we go to Nicola, who's fishing with his savage friend, Wasim. Wasim is savage and gives 0 shits and is going to tell Nicola like it is.
Yeah.
So he's fishing and he was like, oh my gosh, I'm fishing. This is my favorite spot. I used to fish here with my dad. I love fishing. It's in my blood. It's so amazing. I can't wait to show her this spot. And he tells Wasim, like, when she gets here, I'm going to bring her here. And he goes, does she like to fish? He goes, I don't know. I'm going to show her. I could fish all day. And she gets really, really mad when I don't answer her call or her text because I'm fishing. It's like, okay, we got it.
You're passionate. I think he's channeled his sexual energy into fishing.
Okay. Or maybe he thinks it's like teach a man to fish and make them fishers of men and
I think
turn
like
one
Jesus
fish into
with the fishes, that it's all about that.
I think so. So in his talking head, Wasim goes, he talks to Meisha all day on social media, but how will it be in reality? She's a beautiful and attractive woman. She's out of his league. It would be hard to believe she would be interested in this guy who has no job, no money, is totally broke, and does nothing but sit in his room. It'd be hard to believe he's actually loved by a woman like Meisha. It's like,
So
wow.
tough.
Wow.
Also, couldn't he get ads for his website? He gets 500,000 views or something.
Yeah, it's a lot.
He could get some bank, I think. He just needs some ad placement, like some Bible companies.
Don't you think that's where she found him?
No, he messaged her on social.
Right, but was it because she was like visiting his site?
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, maybe there's a chat room there for the Bible talk. I don't know.
And you could charge a membership.
Yeah, I don't think he's thinking about monetizing any of this, though.
I know, but how are they going to support each other?
Well, with her sick Catholic church money, I don't know.
Yeah.
She seems to be doing fine.
Yeah.
Seems to be doing fine. So Nicola says, how long have you known me? Have you ever known me? Have you ever seen me with a woman? The last time I kissed a woman was 16 years ago. I haven't touched a woman in 16 years.
I get more action from these fish.
Yeah. Yeah. And what seems like, okay, don't brag. Like, oh, we got it. Right. And then it's talking again. He tells us, I'm still a virgin. I have to be celibate until I'm married. That's what the Bible says. So Wasim says, all right, so let's talk about this. Like, she's been with a lot of men and she's divorced. So wouldn't you prefer a virgin as your first choice? All this conversation made me so uncomfortable. Just really, really digging into her virginity here.
Yeah.
And Nicola tells us the Bible says that when you come to the Bible, when you come to religion, you're brand new. So to me, this means she is a virgin. Well, okay.
She's a born-again virgin.
She's a born-again virgin. Okay. So Wasim says, and your mother would prefer that you take a virgin woman, a woman who will bring you children. And he says, oh yeah, my mother's driving me crazy. I'm sure she won't like her, so I'm not even telling her. She's always like, who's that girl you're talking to? Who's that girl? And I say, Mom, stop. She doesn't even think she's real. And I just say, God will plan everything.
It's Jen and Rishi. And Jenny all over again.
It's going to be like, here she is, the woman I'm going to marry. Yeah, she's a virgin.
How old is she?
How old is this oldie? Yeah. And she also has, a 20-year-old and a 17-year-old at home. Yeah. So now we go back to Meisha, and she's putting a Saint Francis of Assisi collar on her cat. She's like, this is your favorite saint. The cat's like, goes away.
I didn't know they made those.
Oh, well, of course, yes. You can get everything with your saints on it and your rosaries and everything. There's a Catholic store right down the street here. It's called Pauline something books. So she calls Nicola and it's like, hi. And she's like, look who's here. Your favorite friend. It's the cat. And he was like, oh my God. He goes, get that cat away. He goes, when we get married, I don't want that cat on the bed. She goes, oh my gosh, it's just a cat. Anyway, listen. And she's like throws the cat. So she says, I got to tell you about the annulment meeting that I had today at the parish or whatever. The interview was super intense. And then she says, she's been legally divorced for over a decade, but she has to get an annulment to get married again. She has to prove it was not a valid marriage. Now, do you know about this?
It makes sense. I've probably seen it on a TV show.
Right.
That's probably how I know everything.
Well, I know somebody here whose husband got his marriage annulled, had to go like up through all the like up to the Supreme Court of the Catholic Church to get it done because they have 5 children, and they had to get it annulled, which means the marriage never happened. Herefore, 2 of your 5 children are bastards. So
that's rough.
My friend Chris down the street, his mother had her marriage annulled, 3 children, him being one of them, so that she could get remarried to her second husband. It's pretty common. At least I know 2 instances of it.
Wow.
Lots of kids involved. You have to be able to prove it wasn't a valid marriage in that there was some sort of abuse or something. You have to prove something terrible about the marriage to say it's not a valid marriage. You can't be, we were completely in love. We had these children. Everything was great. We just grew apart. We had different views for all. They can't just be, it can't just be that. It has to be something to get divorced. So anyway,
I'm thinking about when Robin on Sister Wives got divorced from her husband.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why.
Well, I don't know if
had
she's
to
Catholic.
do some. No, they're Mormon, but they had to do some legal haranguing.
Yeah. For her to get remarried.
Yeah. Well, Mary had to divorce Cody.
Oh, right. Well, that's a whole different. Yeah.
So that, yeah. But I get on Amish people, they have to go get the head of the whatever to approve before they can even get engaged or do anything. Like he has to approve. It makes sense. I don't know. I've never heard of Jews doing things like that.
Well, yeah.
But we have our own things that are crazy.
So she says to him, like, what happens if it's not granted? And he goes, well, we can't just do a civil marriage. That would be a sin. So we won't get married. I've been waiting my whole life to marry a Catholic. So we wouldn't no, that's it. See you later. So she's like, oh gosh, like I really hope it gets, I really hope my marriage gets annulled and my children are proven to be bastards. Hooray. Everybody,
there's that big of a stigma about it anymore, is there?
There's not. My friend Chris jokes all the time about being a bastard child because his mother's marriage was, he jokes about it all the time. So anyway, guys, I'm just saying that for shock value. Don't come at me, Catholics. Okay. So
I know we're going to get letters. People let me explain this.
Actually, it's not true. So she hasn't said she had anything. She just said she and her husband grew apart and that's why they're getting divorced. So she hasn't said it was a bad marriage because XYZ. So she'll have to prove something was going down. So, all right, now she hangs out with her 2 daughters. I mean, she's beautiful, her sister's beautiful, and her 2 daughters are beautiful. It's a beautiful family.
Stunning.
Mm-hmm. Everybody's pretty here. So her oldest daughter is Maria. She's 19. Sorry, I said 20. She's 19. And Sevilla, Svea, Stevia.
Stevia.
This is some Swedish shit. I don't know.
Yeah. Svenna.
Svedka vodka. I don't know. Svea. Maria and Svea. There we go. 17. So, of course, is a trope of this TV show that drives me crazy. She's packing in the living room. Why? Why do they do that? Because there's more space for the cameras. I get it. But nobody packs in the living room. Nobody takes all their crap out of their bedroom and packs in the living room. No one does.
Yeah.
No one does this. Yep. So she's packing in the living room and she says, so what do you think about this whole thing with Nicola? And they're like, I don't know. If he comes here, it'll be like weird for this guy to be here. We don't know him. Like that would be weird. And the daughters say, and they're talking, and they're like, that'd be great if they got engaged because they're very similar, but it's awkward. Like we've talked to him a couple of times and all he does is pray for us and talk about God. And literally that's all he talks about.
That's a mom's problem. Mom needs to do an intervention. Tell him, ask them about their lives, like try to get to know them. Maybe you could form some sort of bond. I mean, if they've been talking for 7 years and the girls barely know him, that is a problem.
Yeah. Since they were 12 and 7.
Yeah.
That's a long time. So Maria says to the mom, she goes, look, we worry about how Catholic he is. Like, what if one of us gets a boyfriend or something? I mean, is he going to tell us we're sinners? Like, we don't want to live with somebody that's super judgmental of our lives. And she goes, well, he is very rooted and strong in his faith. And so that is something to think about. And Maria goes, well, he's not our parent and he won't have a role. So you're going to need to clear that up with him. And to what I say to Maria is, by the time he gets here, you'll be 21 and Savea will be 19 and you guys can just move out. That's what I say.
But they shouldn't have to.
They shouldn't have to. But if you need to escape, you'll be old enough by the time he gets there.
Yes.
Yes.
I feel like they are like Marcel and Anna's kids, the beekeepers. And they're just like, why is this man coming in here? I mean, at least he speaks English.
And touching foreheads. Touching foreheads. Yeah. Touching foreheads. Like, stop. Yeah.
And he tried to bond with them over video games, at least.
Yeah. Yeah. I think they're doing great. So Meisha says her number one love is her children. And so no matter what, he will have to accept her daughters and have to accept the daughters for who they are and how they are, even if they're not as devout as he is. And she does worry about that just a little bit, to which I say, if he really bugs, then get them their own apartment so he doesn't have to. Yeah. But anyways, this is never going to work out, so it's fine.
And you better choose your kids over him.
Always choose your kids over this guy. A clear 2. Just kidding. Just kidding.
His website doesn't even have ads.
How dumb is he in his room day and night praying and yelling at his mother who can't hear him? All right, let's go to Tyray. Let's go to Tyray and Carmela, in air quotes, Carmela. So,
oh my God. So one of our listeners, hang on, this is too good. One of our listeners, Katie, said, my husband and I were watching Before the 90 Days, and when Tyray's story came on, my husband said, wait a minute, rewind, and stopped on one of the photos of Carmela. She was posing in front of a refrigerator. My husband jumped up and ran to the TV. He pointed to the magnet on the fridge. It was a magnet from the company he works for in Denver. A family-owned plumbing and heating company. My husband said, that girl is lying.
Yeah, they can't even figure out where these photos came from.
Well, now we know. Denver.
But this person is not from Denver. Just the photo is from Denver. Yeah.
Yeah. And nowhere else on the internet.
Weird.
Yeah.
Well, your listener cracked the code then.
I know. Yeah. I thought that was so impressive.
So he meets with his sister, Lashante. So he says,
She's also gorgeous.
She is. Yeah, totally. She's obviously very smart. And he was like, I didn't listen to that whole message from Carmela. Like, I didn't want to hear that voice. And he says, so now in my mind, I think maybe she is real because she hasn't deleted me from Snapchat. And I can't believe it's not real because we had such a deep connection. So Lashante says,
I have a Pizzagate sex ring in a basement I would like to tell you about, Tyray.
All right. So Lashante says, did you do a reverse Google image search? And he goes, no. And she goes like, that's Tyray. The first thing I would have done. She's like, that's the first thing you should have done.
Not only that, that's literally the first thing that Neve does on Catfish.
And Tyray has watched Catfish.
And
he says he's watched it.
Catfish. It's the first, every episode, reverse image search.
He doesn't want to know the truth.
Oh, Tyray.
He's hanging on to the love
angel, Tyray. Yeah,
he's hanging on to the love he thought he had,
I know. That's such Celine. That must be a Celine Dion song. Sorry.
You know how I feel about Celine Dion.
I know. I just learned. Yeah.
Don't bring her up to me. So she tries 3 different photos and she gets no results. And she was like, well, this is weird. It's even weirder that there are no results.
That is weird.
So Tyray goes, well, I think maybe that means she is real. And what happened is her boyfriend found out she was talking to me and took her phone and did that message. And she doesn't even know. And then she goes, the producer reminds them that she has a text message.
He doesn't even seem to be bothered that there might be a boyfriend because that would mean there's still a chance.
Right.
Maybe she's been lying to you and she actually has a boyfriend, which is still horrible. But he's like, maybe she's not a man who's been catfishing me. Maybe she's just been lying and has a boyfriend. Yay.
That's the best case scenario here. That's what he thinks. So they talk about how the producer has this text message. So producer lets him read it, and it says, "Hi!" 3 exclamation points.
That's how I write.
Yeah. Here's what's interesting, right? So you have to imagine if they've been talking for 2 years or whatever, he probably told her, "I'm applying for us to be on this show." So when a producer reaches out to you, it's so exciting because they'll be able to pay for my trip there, and they'll be able to pay me as the American, and I'll be able to give you some of the money. And all this time, Carmel's like, "Great," and didn't actually think it through of what will happen when this comes to fruition. So when the producer reached out, Carmela says, where am I? "Hi, to think I cannot video call you because I'm not the girl in the photos. I know it's fucked that I have not been honest with Tyray. I've been lying him for almost 5 years. At first, it was a way to get money since most of us are so poor here. I did start liking him, but I can't be with him. I feel so bad, but I really needed money. I'm sorry. I do love him, but I can't be with him." Well, there's a lot to unpack here.
Yeah.
Where is here? So poor here. Where is here?
Right. Are you a man? Do you have like romantic love for him now?
Right.
Or you just like are fond of him now?
Right.
How much money has he sent you? Have you been doing this? I don't know how much it is. He doesn't seem to have a lot of money. So have you been getting money from other people?
Yes, for sure. For sure. So Tyray's like,
then why aren't these photos on other websites or found otherwhere on the internet?
Well, that we're not going to solve.
Yeah.
So Tyray says, "I just feel really confused now. Like this person says they love me, but can't be with me."
That's
that's what he heard. That's all he heard.
Yeah.
That this person does love him. So Lashante goes, "Here's what you need to do. You need to block Carmela right now. That's what you need to go ahead and do."
Stop calling him Carmela. It is tricking Tyray. We need to assign him a new name and refer to him as that. And it should be like a burly, gross, smelly man's name. Like Ralph. Sorry. Bruno. No, because there's like Bruno Mars is cute.
True. Well.
Sorry, Ralph Macchio is very cute. I should have said Ralph.
Yeah. We're not going to come up with it. We're going to offend everybody. So
I'll offend everybody. But just pick that name in your head and assign that name to Tyray, to Carmela, and then Tyray. Every time he thinks about, he'll think of that name, and he'll be like, "Oh yeah, it's not Carmela."
So Lashante's like, "Go ahead and block this person," and he goes, "I'm going to wait a few more days." And our talking head Lashante says, "My biggest fear is that this person is going to message him again, and then he will believe them and then give them money or try to take a trip and get his heart broken again. And that is just, I'm not going to sit back and let this happen because this person is a scammer."
Yeah, you need to go with him.
All right.
If he goes.
Lashante's on the case. Lashante's on the case.
I feel better knowing she's on the case.
I do too.
I don't know where the brother went. He's like, "Peace out. Can't deal with this."
All right, let's talk about Riley and Violet. All right, first of all, let's talk about how people are against our opinions very strongly. We got a lot of messages saying that we had the complete wrong take on Riley. Everyone said that we were being too nice, that he's an angry man, that he's a sex tourist, and we don't know what we're talking about. I have not seen any indication that he's an angry man.
He says he doesn't want to say "I love you" because he's been hurt before. To me, that is hurt. That is not wanting to get, burned again. That is scared. That is not angry. He does not appear to have a temper. I do believe a lot of people on the show are sex tourists, which is kind of why I don't even bother mentioning it anymore. But it's like such a given that they're sex tourists. I'm not blaming Jake and Maddie for saying that he's a sex tourist, but I don't have all of his other exes have also been of Asian descent. Like, I don't think so. I think
I don't know.
is everyone a sex tourist just because they have a preference or they go on some sort of website? Like, she was
Yeah.
seeking out an American. Does that mean whatever, that we can assume she wants to come to America? Or like, I'm not going to just make an assumption about him right away, but I feel like he triggered a lot of people by
Yeah, you
reminding them
did.
of someone in their past.
Yeah.
And because we're not getting angry at all from him, like, he seems pretty nice and like amiable. And also, someone said that we are always on the American sides. And I was like, so are we xenophobic? I think we usually think the Americans are garbage.
Generally, the American is the horrible person on this show. Not
Yeah.
always, but generally, yes.
And even last week, I said 90% of the Americans are horrible people.
Yeah, yeah.
But apparently, we are too easy on the Americans. I shouldn't read the comments in your Facebook page.
I know. I think what it is that I
keep
always
saying that.
I always look at this with fresh eyes. Like, I'm going to take this all for what I'm being given right now.
Right.
Do I think he'll turn out to be horrible? I mean, chances are 90% just because that's how the show goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of the time, we end up hating both people in the
True.
couple.
True.
At least a lot of the time. But right now, he hasn't given me anything that indicates he's like an angry, horrible person.
Yeah, I mean,
He dated 2 girls in America who broke his heart. So he met someone from Vietnam on a dating site. Is that a little sex touristy? Maybe. Is it like Big Ed, who like goes to these countries to seek out women and then buys them razors and toothbrushes?
and tells them they have bad breath and
No,
yeah.
it's not as bad. I don't know if he's a sex tourist yet, but I don't I think he seems nice. I don't get it.
Breathe some life into your own backyard with fastgrowingtrees.com this spring. From shade to fresh fruit to privacy and natural beauty, let fastgrowingtrees.com help you plant your dream garden with their expert advice and fast, reliable shipping. You guys, I ordered 2 trees from Fast Growing Trees. And first of all, they're not super expensive. And then you use our code and it makes it even less expensive. But I didn't know what I'm doing. I have no idea about growing anything. So you go in and you take this little quiz, right? So I type in my zip code. All right, that puts me in a certain growing zone. I think I was growing zone 7. Then you click on, do you have direct sun? Do you have partial sun? In my front yard, it is like the 7th circle of hell, complete hot sun. So I chose that. Then I said I was looking for trees and I wanted them to be about 4 feet tall when they arrived. Well, that narrowed it down. So I ended up choosing 2 crepe myrtles. They're called Calorama Scarlet Crepe Myrtles. And that just means the color on them is so pretty. It's like a burgundy red. Oh, they're going to be gorgeous. And I put them on each side of the little gateway from the fence into the front yard to the backyard. And they look great. I was out there watering them earlier today because when the box comes, it gives you very specific, easy instructions. Even I, with the brown thumb, could do it. And they look great. And I'm very excited. And I'm watering, even though my daughter told me it was going to rain and I was dumb. I did it anyway. So I am loving Fast Growing Trees and I'm going to be ordering some more as soon as I figure out what else I need because I think I need some flowers in my flower bed. So over 1.5 million happy Fast Growing Trees customers are out there. That's a lot. So if you go to fastgrowingtrees.com/pink shade, you'll get 15% off your entire order. So you're going to get 15% off by going to fastgrowingtrees.com/pink shade. Do it and let me know what you picked. Yeah, I think that his whole like, I'm not going to say I love you because that's when people leave you is when you tell them you love them. I mean, that's something he hadn't worked out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if like a woman said that, would you think she's an angry, horrible shrew, or would you just think, wow, she has been damaged in the past by
Yeah.
relationships?
Yeah. Listen, again, do we think Riley is going to be the hero of this franchise? No.
No, we could very
No.
easily be wrong, but I'm going to wait until he shows us that we're
Right.
wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that the people that are mad at us think that we should already be seeing it. But I don't necessarily see it. People are upset about the PI thing, but he didn't say, please follow her around. He was like, ew.
No, he was like, oh, you're actually going to follow her around?
Yeah, he didn't mean that. He meant like just find out if she is actually divorced and is she still on the site talking to other guys. That's what he wanted to know. But when we met her, when we get into it, when we meet her, we're like, all right, well, she has valid points as well. So let's see how it plays out.
It's always he said, she said, she said, she said, he said.
Yeah.
And we're getting not the truth. We're getting one person's side until we get the other person's side.
Right. Totally. So, all right. So he is packing to go. I can't remember. He might have been packing in his den. I can't tell. But he's packing.
Is he packing a huge crate of condoms and sex toys like we've seen on the show? No, then I'm not going to say he's a sex tourist quite yet.
Like Caesar. Remember Caesar was packing that edible underwear and stuff? Yeah. Yeah.
Gary. I think Gary and Lana packed condoms. Like there's tons of
Who's Gary and Lana? Who's Gary and Lana?
David and Lana, sorry.
Oh,
he looks
Wig.
like Gary to me.
Yeah, he could easily go with Gary. So, he's packing to go and he's nervous. He's got a purse that he's taking her. It's going to be her birthday. He's taking her some beautiful pearl necklace. And he says, I'm keeping the idea of the PI in my back pocket, but I'm kind of hoping when I arrive, she'll address my concerns and we'll work it out. So his friend Alexa is going to drive him to the airport because she's going to watch his dog Mila. And he tells her all about the problem. He found out about Violet sending all those text messages to his dad and bad-mouthing him to his dad.
That I did not like.
Yeah, that we didn't like. But again, it seems like they're both hotheads, okay? Mm-hmm. So we may find out something he does equally as terrible.
He hasn't really shown to be a hothead again.
Well, she says that they both are.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Yeah, when we get to her, for sure.
Yeah. So he tells her about talking to the PI, and Alexa goes, if you feel the need to have a PI follow her around, like there's an issue. He's like, well, I'm not doing it. He goes, here's the thing with me and my job and my life. I need to overstand things, not understand things. I need to overstand everything. I need all the information possible. And she was like, okay, well, I'm still wishing you luck. So she drops him off. And my question is, why does he have a hand towel hanging out of his back pocket? He has a white bathroom hand towel hanging out of his back pocket.
Is he a sweater? Because that I feel I am a sweater.
But would you walk around with a hand towel hanging out of your back pocket?
No.
Okay.
I have a fan that says Pink Shade on it.
Yes. Yes. All right. So she says, I'm supportive of him, even though I think Violet texting the dad was weird. I'm still going to be supportive because, he seems really happy or whatever. So in his talking head, he goes, look, I know we have a lot of work through, but I'm hoping when I get there, we can work it out. And I really do hope to be a family with her. This is all I've ever wanted is to, be a husband, be a stepdad, whatever. So he's going Pennsylvania to LA to Singapore to Vietnam. In one of these airports, he meets a new friend named Tony, who's going to meet his lady friend in Thailand named Pasha.
Sex tourist.
Which is everyone's more information like, he's another sex tourist. He was wearing two masks, which I appreciated because he was an elderly man, Tony.
Good for him.
Good for you, Tony. So,
except he's gonna go sleep with ladies in other countries.
Yeah, Pasha could be his wife. We don't know his life.
That's true,
but I don't think so. So Riley says, "I've never traveled so far for a woman, but I do think Violet is worth it." So now we go 24 hours earlier. We meet Violet. So she's on her scooter, which looks like a really nice scooter. And she's shopping at an outdoor market. And she's, making deals like, nope, I won't take this. I'll take that. She's, kind of hardcore. And she tells us she's a primary school teacher. She teaches math. She loves kids. And she says, I'm a sweet woman, but I'm also a strong woman. So she says Ho Chi Minh City is the largest city in the country. And so it's very hard to date. She was married for 15 years and has 2 daughters. She never felt that her ex supported her emotionally or tried to help her financially to raise the children. So she divorced him. So I don't know if that means she's, been raising the kids on her salary and he was a deadbeat or what. So the end of her marriage has given her many life experiences and it has made her an independent, strong woman. which we like. We're here for that. We're here for Violet.
Absolutely. And I love a teacher.
Yes. Oh, what if we could get her together with Bobby? He also teaches the maths. Indian matchmaking.
It's perfect.
Perfect. Also very passionate about math.
Also, she would crush him to dust. She
with her personality, you mean?
Yes.
His spirit, yes. Yeah. Okay. So she says Vietnamese men are very patriarchal, and she does not want a man to force her to live the way he wants her to live. So she thought, why not just try it out? Why not just try to date a foreigner to see if he's different? Who knows? So, and she says, I met Riley on a dating app, and I saw his dog. I loved his dog, and I liked his profile, and I thought he was a cutie. So far, I don't see.
Fine.
I don't see why we should be hating her or hating him. Or everything seems up and up so far.
Yeah.
We're going to be yelled at again and proven wrong.
I know, but at least we're sticking by each other. We're on this island together.
That's right. That's right. That's right. So she says no one has ever made her laugh as much as Riley does. They've talked a lot about their future, and they are looking to build a serious relationship and become a family. So now we see her go to her lunch with her friends, which is pretty funny. So she tells us her whole family does know about Riley, but her friends don't know very much because in the past, when they had problems, like it's just like typical story, right? You tell your friends and you break up, and then the next day you get back together, and then all your friends hate them. Yeah. So just keep it to yourself. So in the past, they had problems, so her friends don't know very much anymore. So she tells her friends, hey, it's my birthday. I want to treat all of you to coffee. I want you to know I've got this new guy from the United States, but I've known him for more than 2 years. Now, if they know about this, then why is she saying it's like a new guy?
I thought they hadn't known anything, but I was confused.
Maybe they knew.
I was more looking at all that orange juice on the table.
Yeah, I'm sure it was like fresh squeezed.
Yeah, I'm sure it was delicious. Yeah.
So she says she's known him for more than 2 years. And they're like, wait, why didn't you tell us? And she's like, oh, I told the one girl, but she didn't tell you. And they're like, no, that's not true. And then so, of course, they're like, is he handsome? And her answer is, I really like his personality. And he's very funny. And he works really hard. So she doesn't say if she thinks he's handsome, but she told us earlier he was a cutie. And his dating app pictures were all like right up the nose, like nothing like head on. It's all like he laid on the couch and took a picture up his nose.
Yeah, he hasn't learned that yet. He has that one friend from the barbecue, the Juneteenth barbecue, needs to come in and like teach him. Yeah,
that lady. Yeah,
she needs to teach him some good angles.
I think probably
he's not a bad looking guy.
No, I think so, but he's taking bad pictures. So, the friend says, do you ever fight with him? And she says, oh, yeah, 180 times. We fight, we block each other, we unfriend, and then we get back together. And the friend goes, well, I don't like that. What would be the reason for the fighting? And she goes, well, we fight about tiny things. And men, they're so fun to tease. So I tease him until he gets mad. But that's the way I am. And the woman's always right.
And I will never admit that I'm wrong. Yeah, to me, that sounds like she's admitting she's the problem.
That's what it sounds like. I'm 100% sure. Again, but he'll be the problem.
Even her side of the story is not like he's the problem. It's like I tease him until he gets mad because I find it enjoyable.
Right.
And women are always right, and I will never admit that I'm wrong, even if I'm wrong.
That's what she said. I'll never admit when I'm wrong.
Says that.
Even if I am. But he gets crazy, and then he says he doesn't trust me. And this is where she says, Riley and I both have very strong personalities, and we can argue intensely. And I know that he's not trusting of other people, but then we fight because of his accusations towards me. So he's brought this baggage into the relationship where he's been hurt, and he doesn't trust her because he doesn't trust other people.
And it partially because he's been cheated on several times. And he's like a security personnel person. So that probably stung even worse. Like, how did I not see this in my own home?
Right. Totally.
So he probably does have a very jealous, non-trustworthy streak.
Yeah. And she says, I do hope it works out because he has brought me a lot of joy. But he needs to prove to me that he trusts me and quit asking me about the past. So then she just tells her friends, like, we have a lot of cultural differences and things to work out. And they're all like, oh, yeah, okay, be careful. And that's the end of that. So listen, I'm hopeful for these two. And I know that the rest of the internet thinks that we're stupid, and it will take approximately one more episode for us to agree with them. But
Yeah.
for now, what I'm being shown,
Right.
it seems fine
Yeah.
for what I'm being shown. Okay?
Yeah.
Just like Amanda, what I'm being shown is this is a traumatized girl who shouldn't have gone to Romania to hook up with this guy this fast. That's what I'm being shown.
Yeah. I'm getting more
Okay.
frustrated with Amanda, but
Yeah.
I am trying to be nice about it because she's a grieving widow.
Yeah. All right, now let's go to these two, Gino and Jasmine in Panama.
They're both horrible.
This week you think, oh, okay, poor Gino because she's so freaking crazy. And then you think, poor Jasmine because he's so crazy.
Yeah.
All right. So they're in the cab and he's like,
deserves better. I'm going to say it. She deserves better.
She needs to date that Aussie. He was hot.
He was so hot. I showed my mom his picture because she didn't remember him because she probably fell asleep before he came on the air last week. And she was like, oh my.
Yeah. She didn't feel like this guy, that Aussie was like spicy enough for her. I was like, Gino, you have to help him change his hat before he goes night-night. What are you talking about? Talk about not spicy.
He has to go to the bathroom to change his hat because he's okay.
All right. So they're in this cab and he's like, oh, I love to be here and see my home away from home. It's just so beautiful here. And look at the mountains and the ocean. And she grabs her boobs and says, look at this landscape. Big mountains.
And he leans away.
Leans away and goes, ah.
So squeamish around her. He's trying to claw his way out of the car.
Yes. He's writing on the window, help.
Yeah, help me.
Backwards so somebody drives by, they can see it. So they arrive at this new fancy, gorgeous apartment and say hi to the sister, who is quickly told to go back to her room and shut the door and put in her earplugs.
The poor sister. And she has to awkwardly hug Gino in front of the cameras. And he's such an awkward person anyways.
And the dog comes out, Coco, and they act like the dog just ran in off the street and they'd never seen the dog before. They're all like, Coco, what are you doing here? I was like, doesn't Coco live here? Why are you acting like it's so shocking to see your dog in your apartment?
Oh my God.
So weird. So weird. So she's showing him the bedroom where all the magic's going to happen. And she says, look at this view. And he's like, oh my gosh, wow, this is really gorgeous. Wow. And she says, you see this little island here? That was built, and that's where all the filthy rich people of Panama live. And now they're my neighbors. And so she goes, okay. And then he goes, it's breathtaking. It's beautiful. And she goes, it is worth it. And he says, it's worth $3,000. She says, yes. And she says, absolutely. I'm not going to stay here forever because the visa will be approved any day now. That's what you said. I think she's calling us bluff.
Yeah.
She thinks maybe he hasn't turned in the paperwork. And she's like, we'll see if you didn't turn in the paperwork for $3,000 a month.
I couldn't find a pen, Jasmine, and you won't let me go to the store to buy new Bics, so I couldn't fill out the form.
Yeah. I think she's calling his bluff because I think he hasn't done it.
I think he hasn't done it either. I think he's a huge liar. He is a compulsive liar. We saw that last season.
Oh my God, yes. Yes. So in his talking head, he goes, when I first met Jasmine, she wasn't so into luxurious things. And it's becoming more and more important to her.
When was that? I don't remember that. That must have been before we knew her.
When she's in Michigan, I don't know if I can offer that lifestyle. And that worries me.
And then his
house is totally a normal house. Why does he have bunk beds in one of the bedrooms?
Why does he
doesn't have kids? It doesn't have kids.
Maybe he's renting the same Airbnb as Mahogany. Why does he have bunk beds and so many boxes of Mountain Dew?
Well, it's like Katie in the Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
But it was interesting.
I mean, at least it seems like he has cleaned up all of those takeout boxes, because remember last time it was just piles, like almost to the ceiling, of takeout boxes.
Yeah. He was living his best bachelor life,
Yeah.
So then she says, why don't you go ahead and try the bed and see if you like it? And he goes, I don't have to try it right now. And she goes, go ahead, do it now and see if you like it.
I actually got uncomfortable.
Me too. They were zooming in on her face and she was looking at him like, you get on that fucking bed right now. I mean, she was like mad.
Like, remember last season when Kim was like mounting Usman and like pressuring him to have sex with her? And it was like, made me so uncomfortable.
They would go on the dates. She's like, if you're not going to bang me, I'm just going to go home.
And then you're like, if the roles were reversed and this was like a young girl that man was screaming at, you would be cringing. And I was cringing.
So then he lays on the bed on his back and she goes, baby, you want a massage? You want to take off your shoes? He goes, no. So in her talking head, she goes, I could tell he's like, he wants to talk about money, but now is not the time. He just got here. I can't remember the last time I had sex with him. And it's super important for us to have a lot of sex on this trip. So he pretends, not for the first time in this episode, to fall asleep.
He's literally like playing dead, like he's being attacked by a bear. And she wants to start an OnlyFans account in front of the camera crew. They couldn't be on different pages.
And he pretends to sleep and she goes, babe, I'm not wearing a bra. Do you want to see? And he goes, no, I'm just trying to enjoy the bed. I'm seeing it, the bed's comfortable and trying to see Jasmine. And she goes, so enjoy the bed, but you could enjoy me too. And he goes, oh, my glasses are in the way. And she goes, quit trying to find excuses. It's always the same. So in talking head, he goes, yeah, look, here's the thing. Yeah, sex is super important. It's super important to her, and it is important to me. But seeing her spending habits and the way she is pushy really does affect my sexual desire for her. She's too over the top. The minute they get in the car, she's like, look at these mountains. Yeah.
They don't speak the same love language at all.
No.
Whatever, or sexual combat, like, because she wants to be like thrown up against the wall and, and he hates being pawed at and pressured.
Yeah. And told, this is when we're going to do it. He's like, no. Yeah. So he turns over to pretend to be asleep on his stomach.
I was like, don't do that. She's going to whip out those butt plugs. Don't go on your stomach.
He probably felt it was safe. So he turns over and she goes, do you want me, baby? Do you? Do you want me, baby? Hi, baby. Do you want to take a nap? Is that what you're doing, baby? And he goes, and he's like, stop, Jasmine, stop. So now we go. She's making dinner. He's still pretending to sleep on the bed. And here's where this big issue comes in. He walks in and she says, you'll help me by peeling this potato. She doesn't say, will you peel this potato?
Right.
Okay. He's already mad because this apartment is $3,000 and he can tell it is like super high-end luxury, gorgeous, looking at the billionaires of Panama. And he's upset about this, right? So it doesn't matter where it is. It's still $3,000 is $3,000. That doesn't matter what the view is or what. And he's already agreed to it. So, but I think what he's coming to realize is I'm going to be paying this $3,000 until I tell her that I don't want her coming to Michigan.
Yeah.
So
didn't file the paperwork.
And he definitely didn't do it.
Uncle in his head saying you need to stand up to her. Now, of course, the uncle specifically meant when it comes to all of this spending and don't let her walk all over you.
Mm-hmm.
He is like, this potato is my moment to stand up to her.
To show her she can't just tell me to peel a potato.
Yeah. It's this beat is symbolic of, it's a metaphor for their whole relationship in his mind. But she's like, what is happening?
So she says, peel this potato. And then she gives him a carrot and a radish. And she just has the knife and the plate. And he's like, I need a peeler. And she goes, no, babe, we don't have a peeler. And he goes, well, where's the cutting board? She goes, I can't find one. There's no cutting board. So he goes, well, I can't do it without the proper equipment. And she's like, babe, sometimes you get these places, they're fully furnished and I don't have the things. Like, it's just what is here is what you're doing it. And he goes, yeah, I did the potato, but I'm not going so far as carrot without a cutting board. Not going carrot. Not going carrot. And she goes, will you do this? Will you do this beet? And he goes, no, I'm sorry. No, I'm not going to do it. I don't have the proper equipment. Nope. And so she's like, okay, fine. Thanks for your help. And he goes, yeah, you cook, enjoy yourself. And he goes to the bedroom and like a real asshole.
He is so passive aggressive. He won't just say why he's mad. And the poor potato is like, I am being scapegoated again. Can we leave me out of this? I know your issue is not with me.
And also, what is she making with one potato, one carrot, and one beet? She keeps saying, I'm trying to make you a vegetarian meal. But I was like, that's 3 vegetables. You're going to need more.
It's like a mini stew. and he has made her into the angriest vegan ever seen on TV.
So she starts yelling about the cooking. And she's like, all I wanted was to make you a vegetarian meal. And Gino.
And you feel bad for her because she gets real crying, ugly crying, and the veins start popping out of her face.
Yeah. And he's just in the bedroom going, well, I can't cook without the proper equipment. I can't cook. I can't do it.
He is standing up for himself by hiding in the bedroom.
In the other room, so she throws something, it won't hit him.
Yeah, that's how he has chosen to stand his ground.
So she's bawling, crying, ask you to peel a couple potatoes, Gino. What's wrong with that?
My dad was like, why don't they just go get a peeler? And I was like, do you know how long that elevator ride is in that building? It's like 20 minutes. I'm not leaving. Once I'm there, I'm in for the night.
And what if they run into the Australian guy on the elevator? So,
God. So he says, stabbed with a peeler.
He says, and talking to Ed, he goes, here's the problem. Jasmine doesn't listen to me. And I didn't want to upset her, but she needs to understand she can't walk all over me. I'm going to stand up for myself.
Not with the money, but with the potato.
She's in the kitchen. She's crying at the table. She's like, I don't understand. Like, I'm making food. I'm trying to cook for him. I just want to make him happy. I can't make. She has been told to not come out of that bedroom. Keep your earplugs in. Don't look out the door.
She is stuck in her room during Potato Gate. And the police are going to go, where were you during Potato Gate? What did you hear? And she's like, I put on my noise-canceling headphones. I heard nothing.
I heard nothing. I don't know what happened. I was hoping to come out for some dinner after they were asleep. Like
a scavenger, like a rat, and because they don't let me out of my room when they're fighting.
Well, I was trying to make a funny joke about the movie, but now I can't remember the name of the movie where the people come out of the wall and eat the food in the Korean movie.
Oh, yeah, Parasite.
Yeah. She's like Parasite. She comes out at night and gets the food out of the fridge and eats and scrambles back to her room before anybody sees that it's missing. Okay.
This one potato is really good in this stew.
Yes, all that's left. So she's bawling, I just want to make Gino happy and I can't make him happy. He's mad at me. So he comes in the room and he goes, why are you crying? And she goes, oh, Gino. And he goes, Jasmine, I can't cook without the proper equipment. And
how many times do you think he said proper equipment? Like at least 20.
At least 20. And she goes, Gino, growing up sometimes we didn't always have the right thing and we just figure it out and make it work. Which is great, which is exactly what she did. She got a knife and a plate and she made it work.
Yes.
And she goes, and now I know that it's not a big deal for me, but it is a big deal for you, and I'm so sorry.
I mean, this is she has nothing to apologize for, but this is crazy because normally it's her that causes all the drama and she lives through the drama. But now she's like trying to rationally go, I understand that you're particular about the proper equipment. And so I didn't understand because I grew up not having the proper equipment and it's like cultural differences or whatever. Like they're making up.
Weird.
Yeah, it's fit. This is so bizarre.
And she goes, you want to just order some food, Gino? And he goes, not really, Jasmine. I traveled all day and I'm tired and I want to just go to sleep. So she goes, okay, baby, you want me to put you to bed? And he goes, yeah, I think I'm going to change my hat. She goes, oh, you put on your sleeping hat. Okay. He goes in the bathroom, puts on a different hat, comes out in his clothes, same clothes that he traveled in and the hat. Disgusting. And she goes, do you want me to lay with you or you want me to just go out and come back in when you're sleeping? And he goes, yeah, just go out.
Oh my God.
What a dick.
Go out. Just come back when I'm sleeping. Leave me alone. You who has to go to the bathroom. I understand body image issues, but going to the bathroom to change your hat. And then
sleeping in your clothes that you traveled across the world in.
You are so particular about having a peeler, but you're fine with sleeping in your dirty plain clothes?
It makes no sense.
I was ready to throw him off the balcony.
Me too. And have him splat on top of one of those billionaire homes.
Mm-hmm.
So next time on Before the 90 Days, we meet a new guy who looks super cute. He says he's the life of the party, but he's looking to settle down, and he's found a girl. Her name is Cleo, who is really different, but he really likes her. So Cleo looks like my kind of gal. She looks quirky. I think I'm going to like Cleo, and I'm going to hate this guy just because him saying he's the life of the party and showing him at a keg party made me hate him.
Usually on Dateline, if you say you're the life of the party, you're about to be murdered. But
that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it for you. God, I was just listening to some podcast the other day. Oh, it was Scamanda, which I told you to listen to.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a reference to her on there. It was like, she just lit up a room when she came in. I was like,
Nope.
uh-oh.
Danger zone.
Danger. Scamanda, great podcast. So David of David and Sheila, David is going to meet Sheila in the Philippines, and when she picks him up at the airport, and she runs and jumps in his arms. And I feel super positive about their relationship.
Cute.
I'm sure I'm going to be told he's a sex tourist too. But I feel like she really gets him and loves him.
I am rooting for them so much.
I am too. All right. Razvan then FaceTimes with a music producer for a music video that he's going to be working on. And then I guess they're speaking in their language that they speak in Romania. And they're speaking, and she gets mad. It's like, it's rude because they're like talking about me or whatever. She didn't like that they were speaking another language in front of her.
Well,
she seems like a pill. I'm gonna just put it out there.
She is a pill, but they are saying, like, is she jealous? I don't know. We're going to find out. This is going to be her test to see if she can handle it. Like, they are talking super badly about her in Romanian or whatever. Yeah. Apologies.
Anyway, not cool.
No. But she does seem like a pill, totally.
She just seems very much like, Debbie Downer.
Well, again, she's lost like everyone in her life.
Yes, that's right.
But still, she
did choose to leave her children and go there. So, okay.
She's Eeyore.
So Riley and Violet check into a hotel, and they asked, do you want one room or two? And Violet's giving them the eyes, and he's like, all right. And they both think they have the chemistry in person. And so then they're sitting and having drinks, and he says, so what are we going to do tomorrow? And she goes, oh, tomorrow I'm busy and you can just relax. And he's like, no, I didn't come all this way for you, like, not to hang out with me. So that wasn't great, but we don't know. We're going to get the whole context of the conversation.
I know. We're already going to hear it. Look how angry he was. I'm sorry. I don't get pissed about a lot of things, but if I flew like around the world to be there and they were like, no, you're on your own tomorrow, I would maybe be a little annoyed too.
Maybe she has to go to work to pay for that fancy scooter. We don't know.
Yeah, that's true. She just said she was busy.
Yeah, she just said I'm busy. But I think that's also her way of like poke, poke, poke.
Yes, 100%. Yeah. And he falls into it. They might not be well matched.
They might not be well matched. So for many reasons, not just that one. So Gino talks to Jasmine. He wants to talk to her about the prenup. And the first thing she gives him a look like, right here, you're going to do it right now. And then they get home.
Do you want to be murdered on camera?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. They go sit on the balcony at the apartment.
No, don't go to the balcony, Gino.
And they're sitting there, and he has a piece of paper in his hand and is showing it to her. And she goes, I will not marry you if there's a prenup. So he leaves the balcony.
All of the neighbors who are paying $3,000 a month are like, is that why we're paying this? So we have to hear these people scream all the time and see a man get murdered?
They're like, my apartment is $5,000 a month because I'm even closer to the billionaires and I have 3 bedrooms and I will not stand for this. Yeah.
It's seeing him on that balcony is like seeing home footage of someone on Dateline and they're like on the stairs in their house and later they get pushed down the stairs and die. It's like the scene of the crime.
It's like they're leaning on a balcony with both arms out,
totally,
like with the ocean behind them or a cliff. Yeah, like
in
look.
happier times, right before they get pushed over. Yeah, that's what it's like seeing Gino.
And then Keith Morrison's like, "Oh no!"
But aren't you shocked? He actually did bring up the prenup.
Yes,
I thought that was going to be like, as he's flying away, he'd hold up a sign out the window of the plane. By the way, I need a prenup. Like he would wait until the last minute.
I'm going to be honest. I think he's using this prenup as another excuse not to marry her and to say, all right, I'm going to pay for this apartment for 2 more months. And then since you're not coming to the United States, I'm not going to pay for it anymore. And also I didn't send in any of the paperwork.
Yeah, by the way, and he mumbles it.
Can you imagine her in this little town in Michigan that he lives in? Well, maybe he doesn't live in a little town. Let's see where they live. The depressing man from Michigan, he lives in Canton, Michigan. So I do think that's like right outside Detroit because he is an automotive engineer. Can you imagine her in this town going to Chili's to pick up her tater tots? And she's like,
no.
Were you talking to Gino? Yeah, I mean, yes, I don't think that's a good city for her.
No. I don't know if anywhere is a good city. I don't think any city can handle Jasmine except her country. LA. But yeah.
Yeah. Miami and Vegas. Those are the
perfect.
Perfect.
She can go hang out with
3 places.
Yeah. She should go hang out with Larissa and Paola, and they can strut their stuff on the boardwalk.
And you know who else lives in Vegas is Marcelino.
Marcelino.
He's looking. Yeah.
I'm really upset about that. I don't want to talk about Marcelino.
I am too. I don't want to talk about them either. Okay, guys.
Heartbreaking.
That's it for Before the 90 Days. And as you guys know, you can always follow us over on Instagram. We're doing a little contest over on Instagram right now.
Ooh.
It's one of those things where you like, tag a friend, follow, and then that friend follows, whatever. And then everybody's registered to win a $25 gift card to the store.
Love that.
Yeah. And we had a winner last week. We have a winner this week. Ingrid's in charge of that. And we're doing, grassroots campaigning out there.
We need to get their Instagram followers up, guys. Yeah. Come on.
We don't understand, but we're out there anyway. I have a very funny reel we just put up that was about all the times that Louis lied on the reunion, and we had to actually cut it way down because there were so many times Louis lied on the reunion. We just had to do like the top 5. I did a thing last week with the Real Housemates of New York. Their podcast is very good. Now, I will tell you that on Thursday this week, I have a very special guest to talk a little bit of Bravo, but mostly to talk all things Southern, and that is a guy named Landon, and it's Landon Bryant. He has a very funny Instagram TikTok called Landon Talks.
You told me about this, and I subscribed to him. He is very funny.
He's very funny, and so he's going to come on, and we're going to talk about Southern things, and we're going to also do a little bit of Bravo. So fun. Yeah, it's going to be really fun. So listen to that on Thursday, and then over on Pink Shade Prime, which is Supercast and Patreon, we just finished up Kimberly and Katie and I covering Jewish matchmaking, and I'm covering 90 Day Love in Paradise with Amy Archer, as well as Temptation Island, You're Not Gonna Tempt Me, and our favorite Mark L. Wahlberg, not to be confused with Marky Mark. Mm-hmm. And that's what's happening over there. And pretty soon also over on Supercast and Prime, we're going to be talking about 90 Days the Other Way. They're putting out 2 at a time and 3 at a time, really, with Love in Paradise. It's really not acceptable. It's too many. It's too many. We can't have 3 at a time. It's too much. And
it's like all new couples?
No, Kenny and Armando are on there. It's you know who else I think is going to be on there? Danielle and Johan.
No. Why do they keep doing this?
I don't know.
Because theirs ends really, really badly with like abuse.
According to her, that's what she said. But she posted on her Instagram that people that wish her ill and don't wish she and Johan well are very, very sick. And that she knows that they have physical ailments because of the hate in their heart for her.
I mean, talk about bad takes. I mean, if we're doing bad takes, what do you guys think of Danielle?
I mean, you think we've got bad takes. Come on. She posted a picture of the 2 of them and was like, my 15 minutes sure are extended the other way. Yeah. She did. She's really something, and not in a good way.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Really not great. Not great.
Wow.
Yeah. So anyway, maybe they're not going to be on it. Maybe she's teasing us. I don't know, but I do know Kenny and Armando are going to be on it, and that's worth watching it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Love. That's one of our best examples of people that can make it work on this show.
Yes. But still, too many shows. Too many shows. How many hours do I have in the day? But if we keep with this one being 2 hours and Love in Paradise and The Other Way, if we continue with those only being 1 hour and this one is the 2 hour big one, I'm okay with that because the 1 hour ones are so much easier to recap. Snappy. Yeah. The 2 hour ones just take me freaking forever. Yeah, I hear you.
Forever.
I can start doing some of the recaps.
Oh, well, I might take you up on that, girl.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, everybody follow Kimberly and Katie. They have a wonderful podcast called A Date with Dateline where they recap Dateline episodes. And they also do a Sunday night YouTube, A Date with K and K, where they did all of this season of Yellow Jackets. They're coming up with something else. I think it's TBD.
Yeah.
Yes, TBD. But
Yeah.
if you followed Yellow Jackets, you could go and watch that on YouTube, A Date with K and K. And again, please follow us at Pink Shade Pod, at Pink Shade Podcast on TikTok. And that's my spiel, and I'll see you guys Thursday.
Yay, follow Pink Shade on Instagram.
Okay, yeah, bye.